one is preparing. This meeting's being live streamed over the interwebs. I'm going to have to get up and satisfy my thirst here now that my bubbly was ripped from me. I was evacuated of all my bubbly. Everybody, thank you for coming back tonight. Everybody checking back in, getting my pop out chat. Can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Everybody good. Welcome. We have a special guest tonight who I follow on YouTube myself. Welcome Joe Diesel 187 to the group, to the gang tonight. Ford Boss Me, appreciate you for stopping through. Cody, Reelan. I reached out to Joe, get him on the channel, talk trucks, and another fellow technician and his viewpoint at the dealer, and obviously we have a decorated veteran behind him. You guys can see a senior master tech. That is a status that we at the dealer, if we have been in the game long enough and have completed enough of our online training to become Ford certified, we become senior master in pretty much all of Ford's systems and whatnot. So it's kind of an achievement for internal to the company and yourself. But nonetheless, welcome, and yeah, man, I'm excited to have you on. I see you behind the camera at work, and now you're on the show. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Cool,
Thanks
man.
for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we have a meetup coming up this Saturday. I'm excited for everybody who signed up. Wish everybody else was closer, and I'm good. I don't need it. And we have some new shirts in. You guys can hit the email if you want. These are one of the colors I have on Instagram. The other one you guys can check out. Excited to be here. We have Reelan. Somebody had commented earlier this week, and I do apologize. We've all been so busy, and has been asking about the Apple podcast being updated, and we are on it right now, and we're going to get that taken care of. Reelan has got it on lock, so you guys just bear with us and check your stuff, and it will be there. Zeekster, what is up, Zeekster? I appreciate you, brother. I was able to talk with him on the phone today, get him situated, straightened out. What is up? But yeah, Joe Diesel, why don't you, for those of you who don't know who Joe Diesel is, who are you? Where are you in the United States? What part of the country? And I mean, you're Joe Diesel for a reason, right?
Yeah. From Southern California, Riverside area.
Heck yeah.
And so I started back in 99, got into UTI and went through the automotive program. And then after that, started working at the dealership. So that's when the 7.3s came out, and I started learning how to work on those. And that's how it all started back in
that's like
2000.
Same as me, man. That's so funny.
Yeah. And they were like brand new on the lot. So, so 21 years later, yeah, I decided to quit Ford. So that's why I have the time now, and I felt great. The industry has changed, and it gave me it made me a lot of money, and gave me a lot of gratitude against cars, and it worked out. I just think things are changing, and I feel like I want to do something else now. So, and of course, I started YouTube with a guy named Kenny Ritchie, which everyone knows by KTM. Just messing around,
Heck yeah.
making dumb videos, and we decided to put it on there. And then I just started talking about work and stuff like that, and it grew. I can't believe how big it grew, and it's been about a good year and a half since I posted one. But yeah, that's how it all started. And then I met a lot of people. I met Rusty Bunn. I never met Diesel Ron, but one day I went to work and someone, one of the other guys was saying that someone passed away on the 10th freeway going towards the Palm Springs area, and it was Diesel Ron. And I found out that he lived 15 minutes from my house. So I never got to meet him. I knew who he was. I never got to meet him, but
Wow,
I met
that's too
Rusty
cool.
Bunn though. And Rusty was from Orange County, but I forgot where he actually lived at. But on his last year, he was let's see, where did he live? In Reno. And I was helping him building a gun, and one of his wishes before he passed was for me to go up there and go shooting, but I never got the chance. So I met a lot of people through YouTube, a lot of good guys, and also on the other side, the gun community as well. I met a lot of people. So with the YouTube, it's pretty cool. You meet interesting people. I just don't do this kind of stuff, and but the people I met, talk to on a regular basis, it actually helped me grow, just not, automotive, but, for yourself as well. So
When you look
that's
when you look back at, well, what was it, Sunshine?
Sunrise.
Sunrise? When you look back at that, or at that one, or the other one, uh like, I we have the same window right now, you and I. So like when you look back and you're thinking, like you said, 7.3s were still in a lot, and all that whatnot. What like did you think working on the 6.7 was your favorite diesel to work on compared to what we had to work on, in the past?
7.3 is probably my favorite. I worked
Seven
on the
three.
6.9s too as well.
Oh,
The
okay. I
ideas.
didn't do no 6.9s.
Yeah, I done all that. The 6.9s, 7.3s, 6.0. 6.0 is probably the most one I made the most money because Ford was, giving us blank checks to fix them. So I made a lot of money on between '04 to '08, '09, and that 6.4 was just a piece of junk. So I'm not too familiar with those very much. Just put another engine in it, I guess. And then 6.7, that was a pretty good engine. Just oil leaks all the time. That's like the number one thing on that thing.
Oh man.
Oil leaks, upper oil pans.
Upper oil pan, upper oil pan, upper oil pan,
And then
upper
these
oil
new
pan.
ones are not that great either. I had two 22s with rear main seal leak and an upper oil pan that had a crack. Less than 200 miles each.
So what did you have to do for the upper oil pan to get that off compared to the other ones? Like, did you have to jack the motor way up?
Oh yeah. Well, in the workshop manual, they had to take out the fan shroud,
Uh-huh.
upper intake, the downpipe, and then he had to lift the motor mounts just to lift it up. Because remember the what was it, the oil pump in
Oil
the
pump,
front
yeah,
sticks
yeah.
down, so you won't be able to get it out. So you had it's a lot more work. But it took an act of God just to get an oil pan, and it was a brand new unit. So of course, Hotline called me directly on my phone. It's like, hey, what's going on? Send me pictures, stuff like that.
What was it? What did you think of the gasket? Because I haven't personally been able to see one. Like, is it a metal rubber gasket, or what is all
Yeah,
that
it's
about?
it's yeah, it's a metal gasket with a little rubber bead around it from the
Uh-huh.
inside, and then silicone on four corners, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's not that
No
hard.
kidding.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to clean. So, but
Man.
yeah, it sucks. Yeah, I mean,
Rich, Rich, are your guys over there doing upper oil pans too? Like, do you see your diesel guys just pulling in them things, or what?
Not brand new ones, but the ones that are a few years old. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like Luma duties all the time.
Yeah, we moved our high speed used car guy that he was an independent guy for years, never really worked for like dealerships or anything like that. And then we brought him into the dealership world and trained him up on a lot of the dealership stuff. And now that guy's took out like a rocket, and he's doing mainly just diesel stuff now. Like I mix in and do it all, but he's doing like all the diesel work now, and he's constantly pulling transmissions to fix the 6.7 oil pan leaks just all the time.
I know it's crazy how many oil leaks. I don't. It's. I mean, I can't contribute it to just the CCV, but gosh, man, it just seems like it's just literally oil leak after oil leak at times.
Yeah.
I
But
think you beat that with a dead horse with the RTV video too.
oh my goodness.
But lately it's been kind of crazy though. It's not just the 6.7s. Like we've got this slew of 6.0s and 6.4s in, and there's a couple 7.3s, and out of nowhere. Normally it was just the newer stuff, but I think people have been letting equipment sit for so long now, and they're trying to find people to be out there working. They're pulling some of their older equipment out and they're trying to run it, and it's been down for so long. A lot of it has problems now. And we've got just motors apart, head studs in the 6.0s and all kinds of stuff. It's crazy right now.
Man, dude, you got to tell them about those rear ends. What's up with those ones that are just blowing up on you?
Yeah, it's
Oh my gosh, that one you had with all that shrapnel?
oh, you mean the 88355?
WTF. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it's these fleet guys that run these V6 naturally
can't believe
aspirated
that.
trucks that have 8.8s, and they don't care for them. There's random people in them all the time. They have no accountability. They're not doing their maintenance and stuff. And, the inspections they're lacking thereof. And when they come into the dealership, it's catastrophic failure typically. And while it's still under warranty, you have to decide at that point whether or not you're going to fight the customer and possibly chance a lawsuit, or you're just going to cover it under warranty. I mean, if you can't 100% without a shadow of a doubt point the finger at them and say this is your fault, you got to do it under warranty, and it's just how it is. And with us being technicians, we can only advise it what we see and what we find, and then the front office takes it from there and they figure out what they want to do with it. 99.9% of the time, it's warranty work, and it's all these naturally aspirated V6s, fleet trucks that just get beat to death. And the last one that came in, I literally spent 3.5 hours pulling the rear end apart and torching, ruined 3 pullers and stuff trying to get the yoke out of the thing, and then finally had to cut the front half of the yoke out to get inside the rear end. And by then it was so destroyed, trying to pull the pinion out to see how bad it is so I could at least write up a proper story to justify replacing an entire housing and everything, that the bearing, the pinion, the yoke, it was all welded in one giant piece. I had to cut it out in chunks to justify why I was going to put a housing and stuff in, including an entire assembly in it.
I couldn't believe, like, when you looked at that piece of metal where you had to cut. Man, there's no way you should have done that. That was crazy.
I had to cut through the flange, and then I had to cut down the yoke part of it, and then I had to go to the other side and cut through the flange, and then cut down the yoke part of it, and then I had to take an old CP, what I call my mad dog. It's like 48 years old, and the thing still hits harder than any of this new stuff we have now, and then split the pinion apart to give enough relief so I could at least start pulling chunks out. And then when I went to split it apart, it didn't just split, it only split the front half of the flange and then left 3/4 of it still in there. And then I had to keep cutting and splitting. And I was like, man, this is ridiculous.
Man, I don't. Luckily in Southern California, you don't have to worry about the Rust Belt blues when we have stuff not like his heated up component, but we have to cut stuff off. It's like, oh man, shoot, you could have 800,000 miles on it, and let me come over here with my little socket set and hand tools and I wouldn't know what to do. I'm like, what the heck is this? What?
Yeah, we don't have the problem towards the east or the south. You guys have all that rust and road salt and shit like that.
Yeah, we got what am I doing right now? I have I'm gonna be honest with you. I wasn't confident in the repair going into it because it was not really my area of expertise, but I didn't want to pawn it off to somebody else. It was a 19 F550, little short dude, short box, short dump, short wheelbase, plow. I mean, decked on PTO on the engine, like everything you could add on to this dump truck. I mean, it was like, I can't fit any more stuff in here. That's the kind of dump truck. And It's got 1,000 miles on it. Dude it takes care of it. He's got cotton towels on the floors on top of his WeatherTechs and seat covers. And I mean, he takes very good care of his trucks, and he just asks that we do too. Totally get it, man. No problem. You ain't got nothing to worry about. His complaint, guy's going down that guy is going down the road, and he goes to hit the brake and boom, gets like this kickback in the pedal. So this has the hydro boost on it, and I go and check the power steering fluid, make sure I've had in past repairs where somebody has taken the cab off and has swapped the lines for the power steering hydro boost and whatever it has weird operation. Everything seemed like it was ran correctly. I'm still taking into account that it's only got 1,000 miles on. I was like, what could have gone, like what's going on? So I mean, it wasn't getting better throughout the road tests, and it was something that's like, is this really happening? Is this just bum, bum, bum. Well, I wound up taking the hydro boost out and replaced it, bled the system, and I think as I continued to drive it, it got better. But when I first started it up and was bleeding the air out, you were getting, braking and turning and that just that it's not feeling smooth, when you're braking. But after driving it, you know what? It really worked out. I don't know what happened to the hydro boost unit, if a valve or something wasn't like releasing pressure to another chamber or what. I've never seen a breakdown internally in the actual hydro boost, but if it's going to be using the hydraulic pressure sent from the power steering pump and is going to use that to help with our braking assist, there's got to be some valving or port bleed off or something, and maybe it was just providing that weird kickback. But I don't know. I've never had to replace a hydro boost. I've never really heard people having to replace a hydro boost. Have you replaced any hydro boost, Joe?
Yeah, for leaks and stuff, but I had something like that before, and it was one of my helpers. He put the
Really
lines
weird.
on backwards,
Oh,
so back feeding, and it's almost exactly what
Well,
you're saying.
yeah.
So I mean, yeah, but
I had that with a cab when they had, how you got the lines with the Teflon O-rings?
yeah,
Somebody had put the other one in this one and
Yeah.
stretched this one. It's like, this one does not go here. Like you would have had to been like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
But yeah,
Somebody-
ultimately it was the hydro boost. So really
Somebody
weird.
brought up the 21 E01, Rod.
Oh, where we got 21 E01.
Yeah, it was the LLC. I don't know that
21 EO1 has been changed so much and put on hold. Who knows? He's way up
Vander
here.
Pool Farms LLC. Please talk about the emissions recall 21 E01 to reprogram the PCM on our 16F550.
Yeah, I mean, what's with that? I mean, to be honest with you, if you look up, I mean, not to be honest with you, there's nothing to be honest about. If you just look up Google 21 EO1, you're gonna see the customer not satisfaction, customer notification letter that you would get in the mail, and it's going to state in there, vehicle has now been found to not meet the emission requirements and is going to need to be required to have the PCM updated to the latest calibration. Well, not really telling us what they're doing. They don't tell us what they're changing in the PCM. They don't tell us what they're changing in the NOx modules, PM sensor, glow plug control module. I mean,
From what I understand, all it is make sure the 207F sets faster.
Yes. What did you say it was? Because I think I heard the exact same explanation.
The 207F sets faster and easier
Yeah.
than it used to.
But then they'll start it and they'll say it's active, and then they have a change to it, and then they say stop doing it, and then there's some new revision, and then they stop doing it, and I'm like, you know what?
well, remember they
After
just had that 20 EO whatever. Remember they had you said not to do it?
Huh?
Remember
Yeah, they had something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a few months ago. It was
Yeah, there was some bulletin that popped up
I
and it
can't
said,
remember some number.
quit doing it or something like that. It's
Mhm.
not effective, or it's not doing what they thought it was going to do. Stop performing it on the vehicles.
Mm-hmm. Let's see what this guy. So that pretty much, I mean, it's really confusing too. So if you have, let's say you get a Super Duty with a check engine light on and it's got this code, and you go through the Oasis, and mind you, this huge vault of computer servers, and um, you run it through Oasis, you don't find anything but this TSB that says to reprogram the PCM. All right, cool. Then you get another Super Duty and you get another DTC and you find another TSB and it says reprogram the PCM. Well, like you're not picking what, like that TSB didn't say anything about these DTCs. This TSB didn't say anything about those DTCs. But both of them says reprogram the PCM. So it's like, are they getting the same file? Like we can't choose what file like we're putting in. Like it just and goes into the you know what I'm saying? Like we don't like we don't pick it. The computer sucks it out from where it comes and it goes into the vehicle. That's one thing I don't know. I wish it was a little more like if we're gonna do programming on a way on FDRS or something, then I think we should be able to pick what file. Yeah, I remember back when WDS. Do you remember using WDS, Joe? And like that you could
Yeah.
actually I think I remember being able to pick, what file you could get if you had this code, it was a different PCM reprogram or something. There was a
Yeah,
long time
especially
ago. I
EGR.
remember that.
Yeah, a lot of the EGR stuff was like that. Ford is you're just screwing everything up. They're just throwing shit out the wall and see if it sticks. So that's basically what their, diagnosis. But yeah, I think a lot of the stuff in California is emissions. So that we have a lot of those reprograms, like you said, and they said discontinue reprogramming it. And the reason why I caught that was the warranty administrator said you can't reprogram anymore. Did you read the TSB? I was like, son of a bitch, because our shop is high volume, and we run through at least 40 to 50 diesels a day, easy.
Damn.
So we're fast paced, so we see it right away. So
Have you heard anything about or I mean, I don't know now, but the VCM Lite?
yeah, I heard something, but I bought the VCM3 and it seems to be all right, but I didn't see any faster connection or anything like that. They really need to fix that FDRS. I think it's a hunk of crap. That is probably the worst scan tool ever. The WDS was actually better than the FDRS. I'm sure you remember that. You remember what WDS stands for, right?
Oh yes, I do. Yeah. Oh yes, I do.
Don't do shit. Yeah.
When they started promoting more of the FDRS stuff on a lot of the older sync stuff, like you can use FDRS to update the older model sync stuff. I was excited about that. And then they finally put on the top of PTS, when you would go into sync, it would actually refer you to go to FDRS, because now it was fully active to program all previous sync updates and stuff like that. So I go to FDRS and I'm trying to do these sync updates on these Super Duties and stuff like that, and on the F-150s. And I had a slew of 3 or 4 trucks in a row where it just would not do a single freaking thing that I needed it to do. And I was like, it can't be every single truck that comes in. So I had to go back to the old school way of doing it, to go through PTS and download everything from the PTS page instead of using FDRS, because it seems like it's hit or miss. Sometimes it's there and it's great. 10, 15 minutes, everything's programmed, you're out the door. The majority of time now, it just doesn't even work.
Yeah, what's this guy say? Yeah, I don't know about FDRS sometimes. The only thing that I can really say is the ability to run codes in almost every module. Like you can select a bunch of data log things, but it just runs so slow. It really reminds me, well, not reminds me, but is similar, I guess I should say, to Forescan. Like when you're selecting the PIDs and you move everything over into like the category you want to watch or whatever, it's kind of kind of funny when you go between forescan and FDRS, but I do agree with Joe though. Like,
You remember that NGS? Remember that?
oh yeah, I got a brand new one.
It's just like that. It just worked. You know, it's quick. You know, you can't put
You
it
remember
on
the
bed.
NGS with the VCM one
Yeah, did I have the VC?
with the
I
red
don't
brick
remember.
stuck in the bottom
Yeah,
of it?
yeah. The one I like was when they came out with the NGS Plus, and you could bleed the brakes and stuff like that, like the old school stuff. It worked back then.
I got a Generation 2 Star Tester. If Ford Boss Me wants to check his air suspension codes, we can beep 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 beep.
Morse code.
Can I read codes in forescan? Yes, sir. You most certainly can, sir. Mr. Will Mix. Anybody, uh, everybody needs to get forescan. If you got a Super Duty and you want to check codes, or you want a data stream, or you want to have an ability to run a manual regen or whatever, check out forescan, because I wasn't about it, but then I got it, and then I kept renewing the monthly and the monthly, and I'm like, all right, piss on this. I'm doing the lifetime. It's really great.
That's what I did. I just did the
You know?
lifetime. I mean, they provide us with an outstanding product as it is, being able
Oh
to use
yeah,
that. So
absolutely.
I just paid for the lifetime, and I get people that pop up all the time and they're asking, why do you promote paying for the lifetime? I said, well, they provide us the ability to use
Hmm.
an amazing product that seems to work pretty good for what it is. Why not contribute to them offering that to us instead of
Absolutely.
trying to just keep renew it to circumvent the system of not paying? I get that people do that, but another thing to point out would be make sure you're getting the right data link connector to go along with that program, because there's a data link where you can switch between the different networks, and
Hmm.
it's a pain in the butt. It's not worth buying. I got the OBD Link EX. It's like 40-50 bucks, but I've had people pop up and say they actually have a new updated wireless style as well that works from OBD Links. I like the corded. I don't necessarily care for the wireless stuff.
Yeah, I don't have a dongle. It actually forescan recognizes our VCM. So I'm able to not use a dongle, but Cody has one here that he has from his truck. Has a
I've got
switch
the
on it.
switch because I'm too lazy to go and buy another one.
But it's definitely look it up. It's FOR scan, for scan, not Ford scan. It's forscan.org. They got a little website. I try to promote them with customers that I talk to all the time, or even something that I've been offering my thank you, Reelan. I appreciate you, that I offer my community if they want to personalize their vehicle a little more, or need some help with remote diag. My requirement is, first, you have Windows. We are not doing no Macintosh, and you got to have forescan. It's really slick. Only Ford and Lincoln Mercury, but it's a very almost dealer comparable scan tool. The data response and the data stream is really quick. You're not 10 psi, 15 psi, 11 psi. Like, I can't. What is this? This is too slow. Like, it's real quick. An ability to take active command too. Active command is a big thing. Like if Rich and I we need to active command, let's say a canister purge valve on one of the patrol vehicles coming in, we're able to take control of that canister purge valve and open and close it. Forescan, allows the ability, or has the ability to, do the same thing we would do with IDS or Forescan. We're just not being able to program. We can't program a PCM and download the file from a Ford server with Forescan. It doesn't work like that. But anything else, you know,
I say it's pretty good. I mean, you get
Yeah.
basically everything the dealer gets, with
The
a
one
few
main question,
exceptions.
the one main question that everybody always asks whenever we start talking about foreskin is, can I do the same PCM reprogramming and stuff that you do?
Rain Man.
Ray,
Rain Man. I was just watching his video yesterday.
Dude blew up, man. He's at like 130
Word.
some thousand followers now, man.
Damn. Man, he's
Dude,
piped in right now.
I seen some of his stuff pop up, and it was like something about 11 days ago, 1.7 million views on one video. I was like, what are you doing? Every video is like 300,000 plus within like 24 to 48 hours.
That's good for him. Good for
Yeah.
you, bud. Good for you. Yeah, just what Zeke's just said. Hit the like button, everybody. I removed all my truck's dings and dongs when I started up. Much better. Exactly. No more
When you get no
dings.
more ding dong.
No. Even a lot of guys want the Bambi mode turned on. That's a big one. And if you have the key fob, the push button start, it's like, oh man, damn, I forgot something in the house. Hold on, I gotta go unlock my door in the house, right? Well, you get out of your truck and shut the door. Beep 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 beep. It's 4 a.m, 5 a.m, leaving for work. Out late, whatever. They don't like the double honk. It's really annoying. So that's another top tier. Can you turn that off for me, please? Yeah. Numbers over gauges. Oh yeah, most definitely. Numbers over gauges is definitely a big one too. I mean, I would want to know what that block of blue means. Not that, it would be an issue with having more information. I just, what does that mean? Is it 180? Is it 150? Is it 160? Is it 200? I don't know. You got the ability to turn on your def percent, your DPF percentage. That's more information. You got trans. Why wouldn't you want coolant temp? Not this. I want numeric numbers. That's a big thing.
But that also creates people who are hypersensitive about numbers. Oh, it was
Yeah.
230. It's always 200. Well, did the check engine light come on? Because it's not reading.
Correct.
But that's also in the owner's manual. So another thing, read your owner's manual.
I know something. And speaking of rust, going back, a few minutes ago when I said that to Joe, not having to, worry about, having rust reeling. He's got plow trucks. It's something he's got to deal with. Rich, myself, the stuff that we see coming to the shop, we have to know going into it, and it's kind of a pain in the butt, but part of owning a vehicle is maintaining the whole vehicle, and it kind of gets into a gray area where you get a vehicle coming in, and let's say I'm going to use the same dump truck from earlier when I was talking about the Hydro Boost. You got a dump truck coming in, let's say it's a 2018, okay? 20,000 miles. So we still got 336 on it, way within the requirements. But the underside is so heavily rusted because of how it's used. And nobody took the care to clean the underside or maintain it. You got to have an underbody wash, clean all that nasty slurry. So now the truck is leaking a fluid because the pans, transmission pans, the oil pans are all rusted. And because the owner or operator didn't perform their pre-checks, now the transmission has ceased to exist because it has no more lubricating fluid in it. So here comes the question. Is that warranty? Hmm. Hmm. Kind of a tough question. Kind of don't really have an answer. You want to say yeah, but you want to say no. Well, I'm kind of on the fence. Ford manufactured that pan with no rust. There are things that Ford can't warranty because they don't have control over it. And for one, it's the environment that the vehicle is being operated in. You got to clean your vehicle. They can't control the fuel that you're using. We get contaminated fuel. Well, how come my fuel system's not warranted? Like, are you serious? Like, it's not Ford's problem that you put contaminated fuel in your vehicle. Well, then that brings up the situation when a vehicle comes in, it's so rotted like that. It's like, well, man, what do you do? Like, how do you tell this customer, like, sir, you're going to have to understand something with me? And then there's going to be that, I don't want to say retaliation, but he's going to counter back. It's like, oh, what are you talking about? I still got warranty. Well, yeah, you're right. You're right. It's like, what do you do in that kind of situation? This is something we have to deal with all the
I'll tell
time.
you. I'll
Rich,
tell
what do
you.
you do? What do you tell that customer?
That was this morning's video of mine that most people took pretty positive, but then there was a few people that they didn't. First of all, they think as technicians we have no power on how or what um, how a warranty is applied. And a lot of people don't understand that we do actually have a lot of power. First of all, we're the first line of how that is approached when it comes into us. We have to see it, we have to inspect it, we have to verify that there's a concern, and then we have to try to justify, is this going to be a warranty repair? Can I do exactly what SLTS says per or PTS says per and get it done through their parameter of their time frame? No, I can't, because there's so much other stuff going on here that wasn't set into play when that vehicle was built. So technically, if the vehicle is not maintained in a warrantable state on how it was built, we do have the power to write that up as there's other than desirable conditions going on here that have affected this. And I'm willing to do so much under warranty, but there may have to be some kind of participation for the customer going on here, because it's going to take me longer to get this job done. We've done that in the past, and the customer has thought, well, that's more than fair to me, because I do have a vehicle that is exposed to fertilizer and salt and all these things all the time. So I do understand. But then what happens when you get the pushback from the customer that says, well, this vehicle's warranty, it should be covered. I don't care. It's, this and that. And then you have to get the dealership involved. And then if they want to sue and all this other stuff, it gets into a whole entire other spectrum of what's going on. Technically, if the vehicle was maintained for what it was being used for to stay under warrantable conditions, which would mean spraying the frame with fluid film or some kind of protectant oil or something like that, like you would expect, sure, let's just cover it. There's no rust and stuff all over the place, but these people didn't do that knowing the conditions that they were in. So it gets into a battle, and you have to try to let the front end of your business figure out with the customer, how are we going to take care of this? Because if Ford asks for any of this back and they see that it's been destroyed or rusted apart and it's got layers and layers in 25,000 miles, they may kick this back on us and say this was not a warrantable concern, and now your dealership has to eat the money.
The whole job.
Everything.
The whole job. It sucks. It's something as a technician we have to be aware of. Like, we just can't dive in and start fixing stuff. We have to be, aware of what we have going on, or, sometimes we'll get customers that'll come in or try to don't lie. You try to cover something up because it obviously is not like what it should be. I mean, come on, man, what are you trying to pull? So you got to, diagnose it with, a clear slate. But it, I don't know. It can really be a pain in the butt sometimes. This guy, I haven't have 118K on and haven't done rotors yet, only pads. I mean, as long as you don't have a vibration, I mean, you can get away with a pad slap. I would assume you don't want to do no gnarly, scaly, rusty rotors. The surfaces look good. I mean, you'd pad slap when you're rich if the
Yeah,
rotors
I mean, if
were
everything
thick
still
enough.
looks like if it's still pretty good.
Yeah.
The only I don't like doing that, and I try to recommend that against against the job when customers want me to do stuff like that, because I try to tell them I have no way of guaranteeing that those new pads are going to get burnished incorrectly. So at least let me, as much as I don't like getting into areas of cutting rotors anymore, making things super thin, I wouldn't mind running a brush pass across the rotors if I can, if they understand that's what I think is going to be best to bed those pads in. But I mean, if that's what they recommend, or if that's what they're asking for, and there's nothing wrong with the rotors, and I explain that to them, and they still decline and just want the pads, I'll do it.
Hmm. I personally don't like turning rotors. I have to because that's the repair procedure we have to do. And if the rotors, just like I was explaining to this gentleman up here, um, if they have a really bad run out issue and you wind up having to cut that run out and now it's too thin, the rotors are going to have to be discarded. And regardless, let's just say you wanted to do a front brake job and you want, let me machine my front rotors and I want new pads. Remember, guys, when we cut those rotors, what's happening? We're actually decreasing the surface area of all that heat transfer, and you're going to have a potential of warping those things again because they're getting thinner. So we got big boy trucks. We're hauling big boy weight, 15,000 pounds at times. We need good braking material, rotors, pads. Motorcraft also has another line of pads. You have your regular OE pads and Super Duty pads. Like not Super Duty, the name of the truck, but just like Super Duty pads. They're blue. Put them on transits. I put them on ambulances, tow trucks,
Severe duty.
severe duty. Um, they're good.
They want it on everything I did down here.
They're good.
We didn't even sell the black pads for Super Duty. We always just sold the blue ones.
And I think people need to realize too, when you go to those severe duty pads, yes, it is a better setup. It's a better pad. You're going to actually get more time out of it too. I had a guy bring a Super Duty into me and he said, just put the regular pads on there. And I was like, like you have like half the amount of pad, right? And the guy was like, just put the regular ones on there. And like 6 months later, he was like, yeah, can we put the severe duty ones on there? And I was like, yeah, I thought so. I mean, that's what I was trying to tell you from the beginning. You're working this truck, put a good set of pads on it, but at the same time, realize these pads aren't going to be super quiet. Everything can be super perfect, and they're still going to make a little bit of noise. Very rarely will I be able to put a set of severe duty pads on a Super Duty and get it to be super quiet for the life of that pad. It's not going to happen.
Do you guys at your dealer, does your dealer have like a what do you call it? Not a payment plan, but like let's say a car comes in for a check engine light and a truck comes in for check engine light and let's say what kind of repairs does it need? This is a cash repair and it needs a couple of EGT sensors. So, you pop the hood. That's my first thing I do. I pop the hood, check the oil, look at the air filter minder, sucked into the yellow. Let me look at the air filter. Oh, this guy needs an air filter too. So you sell them the two EGTs, air filter, fill the washer fluid up. I always give the truck a look around, look at the license plate, see what the frame says, stickers in the window, make sure it's not bashed in on the side or, something that we're going to get blamed for or anything. And, the truck came in for a check engine light. It didn't come in for an air filter. So if you, I guess that would be like an upsell. I mean, you're not like upselling them a whole bunch of shit. I mean, yeah, you need an air filter. I'm going to tell you need an air filter. I'm not trying to scam you out of an air filter. Does your shop give you guys like an incentive, or do they give you like a couple bucks every time you know do that type of sell?
No,
No.
Nope. Hell,
that's part of it.
we didn't even get any kind of labor rate or any kind of labor for air filters.
That's part of your job. I mean, what's expected of you in the basic setup. I mean, for the longest time, we weren't getting money, or we weren't getting any, not even a tenth, to put in air filters or wiper blades or any of that stuff. That's just something that was expected for you to do while the customer was there. Is if you already got the vehicle in and you're already getting paid an hour labor to diagnose something or whatever it may be, it doesn't take that long to put an air filter in or a set of wiper blades. Now, I don't speak in all situations, because sometimes it can get pretty hairy when the air filters are fighting you and stuff. So our service manager did say recently, he was like, look, I want you guys to get paid, and I don't want to rob the customer blind. So if it's a bigger job and it's not just a quick open the box and throw it in there, like if it's a transit where it's tucked back behind the cowl and stuff, and you got to move stuff out of the way and pull hoses off and everything else, I want those guys at least getting a tenth for that kind of stuff. That's not free labor, because sometimes you run into some pretty tricky situations where things got to get cleaned out and whatnot. But no, we're upselling simple stuff like that. We don't get paid for.
I feel you. I feel you. What about if you were to do like those flush things? Do you guys use BG or like Wins or something?
Valvoline.
Oh, Valvoline. Okay.
We have BG, but that's a special request stuff. If we have a severe situation where a motor really needs to be cleaned out and we're looking for something to work.
Now,
what do you mean?
like I need to clean this out like now, get this intake cleaned
Oh,
out
yeah,
or
yeah.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. And we'll use strong stuff, but we'll let the customer know, like, you're going to pay more for the BG stuff instead of the basic Valvoline maintenance service stuff. Now, Valvoline has had some real good stuff that we've seen recently come out for cleaning valves and stuff that's pretty strong. It'll make your eyes water. But most of the serious stuff's with BG, and then people are like, oh, we see you using BG in the videos, you got to be making money or something off of that. No, we're not getting money for the little cap that's in the bottom of the BG container or anything. We don't have anything set up that way. It's literally a service that we provide to the customer. Like recently, I had an Explorer come in that had sludge kind of mixed over, peppered in all over in the valve covers and stuff like that, and oil looked really chunky and stuff. The customer didn't want to go through an engine overhaul or replacement and stuff. I said, I have an option that I can try, and it's a complete engine dynamic kit from BG. It's a $300 kit, but it's the best stuff you'll find on the market. It'll literally burn your skin if you get it on your skin. I can flush this motor out. I don't know what's going to happen afterwards. I don't see metal in the oil or anything like that. So we may be safe now, but if it gets any worse, you're going to be putting a motor in this thing or it's going to get rebuilt. What do you want to do? And they said, just run the BG stuff through it. And it flushed the entire motor out. And the customer's been driving it for a year now. They absolutely love it. They've had no problems at all with it. You can save some engines with that type of stuff, but there's no incentive for us to sell BG products. Now, if we do like a Valvoline coolant flush, it's 2 gallons of coolant, and it's running a machine. So as you're pulling it out of the motor, you're putting it back in through the reservoir. So it's cycling it, and you're pulling it out through the top. You're not just dumping it in and sucking stuff out that's not moving. You got to be doing it correctly. And we'll get a little sticker, and you can put that little sticker on a piece of paper, and it's worth $1 or something like that. But I don't even save those. I throw them out. I don't care about the dollar or whatever. I'm trying to get the job done so I can get the customer out of there.
I can agree. What's up to the two guys that just came in? Yeah, I don't like the cloud, I guess I should say. I think Joe knows what I'm talking about. Like you hear, let's say a family member or, a friend of a friend went to another dealership and they're like, yeah, or no, what am I talking about? Bless his heart, old man Mr. Ed. Prime example, I lived next to this old man for 15 glorious years. Born in the 30s, goes to the Toyota dealership to take his Toyota Corolla in, right? Oh, man. Needs to get an oil change. They hit him bad. for a G. I'm like, Mr. Ed, you went in there to get an oil. Why didn't you just let me do it, Mr. Ed? I would have, I don't want to bother you. He drove to the Toyota dealership and they took him for $1,000. They had to do a let me tell you the car, a 2013, only driven to church and the grocery store. It's got 5,000 miles on it. It needed a 4-wheel brake job. It needed an air filter, it needed a fuel filter, it needed a new AC charge, it needed an induction service. I'm like, oh man, like for real? Like that is what I can't stand. Like there's no reason for that. And the fact that the gentleman who had the car, the age of the car, the quick money making repairs that were sold, I can almost guarantee you the scenario that happened is what happened because, hey, I'm gonna make a quick buck real quick. I'm gonna hit him this one, hit this one, hit this one, hit this one. Man, there's no reason for that. And I called that dealership and I didn't tell her my name. I didn't say where I worked. I didn't say was very polite and said I was in the same industry. I'm in the same industry and I work at a dealership. And explained, she didn't know what to say. I said, I don't know if you got a guy back there that's like about to retire and is just trying to make some quick bucks really quick. But she said it was one of her veteran techs and that she was going to have a talk with him because there's really no excuse for everything that should have been performed. And I hate when those situations happen. Like there's no reason. Like I'll get emails and say, similar types of instances like that have happened to other followers with Super Duties taken into the dealership. I'm like, man, what are these people doing? Like I know I don't know every situation, but it's like there's a fine line between being morally right and truthful when you're doing repairs, or these people are trusting that you're diagnosing their truck and really saying what it needs versus, man, I'm gonna get this guy here, man. I'm gonna get him something. No. That's gonna come and bite you in the ass.
That's where that term stealerships comes in. That's why people come at us like they do, and we're here trying to change the general consensus by doing the right thing.
I can't stand that.
You would expect something like that from a Jiffy Lube or whatever, where it's a bunch of young kids trying to learn stuff and trying to prove themselves, but not from a dealership. That's completely inappropriate and uncalled for.
That's what got me put on the Cody gets no work, because my service writer was trying to hammer a whole bunch of stuff that didn't need to be sold.
I don't care about your numbers. I care about what is supposed to be right. There's a right way and a wrong way. And I don't want to be involved in that stuff. You guys know.
There's a lot of master techs and senior masters that they'll just straight tell the dealership, look, I'm not doing your flushes. I'm not doing none of that stuff. I'm not going to get involved in all that. You want me to do the hard work. You want me to do the work that matters to the customer that's going to keep their stuff on the road. I'm not saying flushes aren't important, but I'm not going to get involved in all that because there's a gray area there on whether or not something needs to be done. And a lot of that spans from, and I've called Ford out on this directly. I've talked to the reps from corporate that have been at our dealership. You guys sell cars. You tell the customer that none of the maintenance needs to be done here, there, X, Y, Z, and it's lifetime this and lifetime that. We know when the maintenance needs to be done and we try to stick to it. And then they get the information from you when they buy the car thinking they don't ever have to service the trans or ever have to service the PTU. And then they come to the techs that deal with it all the time. They give them the good information that say, look, this is when we'd like to see the vehicle. At least we can keep up on looking at the fluid and checking the condition of the vehicle and stuff. But this is normally about when we'd like to see it done. And then they go to a Jiffy Lube or somewhere else and they get a completely different answer. And it's just all over the place. There's no general, what would you call it? Rule of thumb or consensus when it comes down to service intervals. And a lot of that has to do with, a lot of these quick lube places and the manufacturers telling people things that completely are not true.
I'm just commenting back to this guy. Yeah, it's
Let me say something. It's been like that for many years. It's
most stuff.
so if you look at the structure, it starts from the top. You know, it's all about numbers, especially where I live. Everything's so fast paced, and yeah, you get a lot of bad stuff like that. But yeah, it's true. It's so much information online, and they use that. Hey, this doesn't need this. This does need this. So it's like it's hard to uh, have a service advisor that doesn't have any tech background, and we have to explain that to the customer. And most of the time, when I'm sure you guys do the same thing, you explain it to the customer and you sell the job what needs to be done. But a lot of these service advisors have no idea, and they just push you numbers. And that's one of the reasons why I left the dealership. It's just it's you got to feed the machine, you know. And same with Ford. The salesmen, they sell the car, like you said. They say, oh, you don't have to service this or do this, or this is going to be covered, and it's completely garbage. And then as a technician, we get treated like nothing. And then it's all about politics. So it's to keep the customer happy. And it goes back to, like you said, the warranty. Is this warranty or not? In our dealership, we have to contact hotline, send pictures, and we have that. What do I see? Camera thing.
Oh,
I don't know if you guys
wow.
can-
The Swiss
Yeah.
headsets.
Yes. So we've been having that
Wow.
stuff like that because we're a big dealer, and we had a high volume of cars getting sold and stuff. So they have no idea. And then now we have this generation gap. All the older people are leaving, and you got these young guys. So that we're going to see that more. And then I'm right in the middle, and we're getting tired of it, And I just got a phone call from Ford hotline. They wanted to know why I left. So I go, I don't have enough time to explain it right now, but it's getting bad. The old business model doesn't work. It does not work. So if you got young guys listening to this right now, I'm sure things are going to change. I'm sure it's going to be for the better. But right now we have to, it's going to get worse before it gets better.
It's tough.
It's very tough. I never seen it this tough in a long time. You're wasting energy. It's like it's really hard. And I could open up a repair facility myself and then have a direct relationship with the customers, and I can make a lot of money. But then again, I can't find the help because no one wants to do this. It's
Well,
like
then again, you can't find the help, and you don't want to be settling for some subpar work when you're going to want to have the work done. The same reason why my brother doesn't want to hire nobody is because if he's going to get it done, you get it done, you do it yourself.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can't do that all the time, and you're going to have to, find a mirror image of you or train somebody who's going to want to have the same values as your end goal, and hammer it out.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate because these young guys, they don't want to work, and you get a handful that would. So I mean, it looks bleak right now, but I mean, I'm not trying to rain on anybody's parade, but like you said, you don't want to do this. I can see it in all you guys' eyes. It's like you guys have pride. That shit went out the window a long time ago, man, because it's all about business. It got worse. It started getting worse after the '08 collapse. So I know it's a business structure, no leadership in the dealership. And I'm sure you guys, I don't know about your service managers, but the owners, they're just there, probably just collecting a check and not really, like for me, I never met the guy, that's how big the place is. So, and a lot of the stuff too, like I hear everywhere else, I'm sure you guys are the same way too, is sales actually is the backbone of the dealership. And I believe it's service, but then again, it's all about numbers. So you'll know that's why a lot of people are actually, leaving the dealership.
The dealer I worked at actually serviced, paid all the bills, and everything else was basically profit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just crazy. And that's one of the reasons I got out, I mean, I'm very proud of what I did. I made videos, I like, joke around and stuff like that, but like I get emails and phone calls, text messages, all kinds of stuff out to the day. Hey Joe, what do you think of this? what can I do to fix my problem and stuff like that. I'm willing to do that. It's just been like that. I'm just getting tired, spinning my wheels and not getting what I need, so is that aspect of, the dealership life. So 21 years, and I said, forget it. Just might as well do something else.
I was telling
Right.
A-Rod the other day that I had a 43, 44-year senior master diesel tech that came to me and was talking to me, and we were talking about some things, and he was like, man, I've been in this business forever, and I love what I do, but I just feel like I don't fit here anymore, man. I don't fit here anymore. I don't like what I'm seeing anymore. I haven't liked what I've been seeing for years. I feel like I'm wasting my talent here and what I have to offer people and customers and stuff in general. And I don't even see myself fitting in this business anymore because it's went downhill compared to what it used to be. And he said, I'm looking for a way out, basically, to do something else with my life where I can actually be proud of what I do and offer more than what I'm being able to offer.
Yeah, back in, I think it's '04, they took away the the cruises from for the senior masters, and then I was going to get mine, and they cut it, and then that's when I really saw it coming down because they don't appreciate the techs at all. And that's why there's a high demand of techs, to get them to work, but everyone smelt the crap and they left. I mean, I wish a lot of the owners and dealer principals, they understand and appreciate the help, the actual laborers, but it seems like they want them out. But it's kind of weird. But these trucks got to be worked on. I work on mostly fleet vehicles, and I don't do too many flushes or anything like that. But everything else that you guys are saying, I understand, like the flushes and stuff like that. But I'm more the engine guy, so when is it going to be so expensive to repair a vehicle that they're just going to replace it? I mean, look at the labor; it's skyrocketing. Everything else, you can't get parts, stuff like that. I mean, that's what I see the change coming. Everything's just going to be replaced. You're going to have a group of one guy with 3 or 4 guys to work in the engine compartment. Oh, the engine's no good. Go ahead and just replace it. It needs a harness. Just replace the harness because it's just cheaper, less liability. So, I mean, I see that coming and stuff like that. And then one of the 4 reps, it was a while back, I think it was like 2 years ago, he was saying that they have a $1 million machine that actually does recalls, robotics. So one guy could actually do the recalls and keep the liability down. Of course, keep the cost down as well. So that stuff is coming robotic. So I mean, a lot of this stuff is going to just get too expensive, and you're going to see a lot of changes soon by the end of this decade.
Yeah, we've seen a lot change over the years. I mean, I think for the better, just as a technician, though, like as far as, I mean, some sort of getting better, like when they had the different wiring diagrams and workshop manuals. I mean, back when I was growing up in the business, like it was really primitive. But now having everything getting more complex, like I think the wiring diagrams and the way the workshop manual is, how it's laid out, like you got the pictures and everything. I think probably out of all the manufacturers, out of the big 3, I should say, because I've seen those manuals, Ford's got to have probably the best ones. But it comes with other avenues with what we have to deal with at the dealership, and stuff Joe had mentioned, and
Well, I'll give you this: Ford is probably the best of, like what you said, like information, even training. It's probably the best. I looked at BMW, Chevy. Ford pays the most after the whole thing. Ford had it going on. They still do, compared to the guys I talked to, other manufacturers and stuff like that. But I don't know. It's like this disconnect with the technicians, probably like about 10 years ago. And I noticed that we're going to get very expensive. I'm probably the highest paid tech at that time, and it's not all about the money. It's making the shop better and provide service to the customers. Like like you don't see that anymore. There should be a credential for that, and just like I've been taught a long time ago, a lock only keeps an honest man honest. That's it. So if you don't have that mentality, you're gonna have like nothing but garbage in there. And also the advertising of these kids going to UTI saying that they're gonna make 80 to 100 grand, the first year of wrenching. They have that in their mind. And then and same thing with the service advisors. I have no idea how a car works, and they say the same thing too. So it's like these false promises. So there's a lot of stuff that needs to be done. And I was like, man, I could be a consultant and actually turn the dealership around, because then I get paid and I don't have to work for nobody. I work for myself.
Yeah, but you bring something like that up, Joe, they frown upon that. You want to make something better, and then they try to talk you out of it, or try to find a way. I brought the same thing up before. Why not have somebody out in the shop that can actually oversee this? That's not a manager, but that can actually help the shop become more efficient. A guy that's out here that sees what's going on every single
We're in the
day,
trenches. We're not up
that
front.
actually can help operate and make this stuff move cleaner, and we would actually profit better, and the efficiency would go up, and the customers would be happier, and they almost look at you like, are you kidding me? We're not going to give you some kind of spot and offer you ain't got to offer me more money, man. I just want better for what we're doing. I want people to actually trust us. I want things to run better. And they look at you and they laugh like it's like you're just talking garbage.
Even at our shop, something, like a big dealership, they'll write off what they could pay two of me to oversight the shop and keep the costs down. It's the business structure. It's failed now. Like it's like 80s technology in the new world, in the modern times. That's the problem. They think that, if I look the other way and the problem goes away, then we don't have a problem. It's just bruise, it festers. And you go blue in the face, but you know what? The dealership will run with or without us. So how would I say it? The dealership will spend money for a consultant to figure out why they have so many problems there. Why is morale down? Stuff like that. But it's like, just listen to your text, listen to the people that work, and honor them, man. It's ridiculous.
Right. It would be very, very wise for a executive in a company to come down and talk to the lowest workers, see what's going on, talk to them, just like Joe said, honor your workers, let them know that not only because I'm running the company, but I want to support you. You are making my money. You are helping make this company growth. You're helping pay everybody's salary. And maybe sometimes that those workers aren't voiced that or shown that, whether it be a bonus or company a picnic, or not picnic, but you know what I mean. It is very important, I think, to a larger community of workers in one place, or one not just one place, but company, I guess. Because like dealerships, like for instance, Rich has a huge Toyota store, and then they have a Chevy store, and then they have a Ford store, and they have this store. Like, what do you got? 8 stores, 13 stores, 8 stores?
I think we have like upwards of like total of 13 stores now, some new stores and then some
That's
used.
huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. You know how many workers that is?
I mean, I think in the company total, we have like 800 employees.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Somebody, Normile or whatever said, I'll stick to Nissan. After our Ford talk on our inner workings of what's going on and what we're seeing, I was having a talk with a Chevy service manager today, and he said, but you think you got it bad with your rear ends and the Super Duties and stuff like that, and that's little issues you're having with your new cars. We have brand new 22s coming in with the LS engines with lifters gone and camshafts gone. It's not a Ford problem. It's not a Chevy problem. I've got a Nissan with 35,000 miles and the motor's going because it hit so much blow by, it's sludged up. over 35,000 miles. We got Toyotas that come into the Toyota store. They're eating oil because oil control rings are seizing up on the pistons and stuff like that. It's not a single manufacturer problem. So you can stick with Nissan all you want, but this is a manufacturer wide issue right now. There's technicians literally from every walk of manufacturing that are just tired of all the stuff that's going on. You're just hearing it from us in saturation because we're talking about things and trying to make it better. So you just haven't seen the right Nissan tech pop up to start his own little movement to talk about what they're dealing with.
You know what?
You're
It
absolutely
almost
right
is,
about that.
it almost needs to have an undercover boss, like that TV show where they came in, dressed up, load the skies, go into their, business. Like you almost like come see for yourself. Like
Right.
we're not making this stuff up. Like why would I waste why would we waste our time telling you this? Like we have a legitimate problem. We're telling you right here in front of you, like, hey, this needs to change. Like WTF? Like, what's the deal?
Yeah.
Teamwork,
I mean,
man.
we have a new service writer, and he was saying he came from Hyundai, and he said, "Do you know how many issues that we're having at Hyundai? We can't even get specific oil filters that are the most popular oil filters right now. We can't get specific parts that we've always had right now. It's an industry wide thing. It's not just a Ford thing or a Nissan thing or whatever. It's right now is a really, really bad time to be a technician in the field. It can be really good and it could be really bad. As of recently, Joe, I don't know if you've seen one of the last live streams or something that we were talking about. Ford put out a bulletin saying that now, finally, they're going to trust the technicians to not run all of our time on warranty work anymore. They don't need us to prove it anymore and be clocked in on the entire job. And they even said something about they're not even going to hamper down on one-time use parts as much anymore. And they're going to let all that stuff slip. As long as it's not M time, they're going to just release us to repair the vehicle. So it's like, why did you wait all this time? Why have you waited all this time to finally take into some consideration that we're not trying to screw you over and we just want to get the job done?
Yeah, we had a meeting about that. I think it was like the beginning of October. They said not to clock anything on warranty, and just M time, like broken bolts, abnormal, diagnosis,
Wow.
stuff like that. So 6 months, I think at the beginning of the year, they sent from Ford Motor Company sent an email. They want to know what's going on with the dealerships and how you've been treated and all this stuff. So I just laid it out. And at the end of the questionnaire, it said, besides, I'm trying to remember, besides pay and healthcare, what else can Ford Motor Company approve? And I just like I said, just, honor the text, we're the ones fixing the shit. I mean, I don't know how many times I call hotline and find stuff that, is abnormal, So it's just crazy. Like we're telling them and they just don't want to do it. Like I said, there's an incentive, like, what's going on?
Like the
Yeah.
biggest thing, and I hate, it's not the current events things in the world, but he had mentioned, Joe mentioned earlier, the 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 cruise. Like that was something
I look forward to.
technicians looked forward to, brought their best friend, brought their wife. It was something that they looked forward to. And the fact that I'd never got to experience it, but the fact that they took it away after having it for so many years and technicians becoming friends with other technicians because they fellowshipped on the boat, on the ship, like why take that away? That is honoring your technicians, whether you had to be a senior master tech or whatever.
Didn't they also used to do something else for you guys, A-Rod? Wasn't it like maybe Joe would remember this back in the day, whenever something new would happen and there was no pinpoint test for it or fix, and you actually found the repair for it, or maybe there was a pinpoint test or a fix and it really wasn't working, and you found the actual right repair. They used to throw you a bone or something like that and say, hey, thanks, I appreciate you coming up with that and notifying us, and here's some money for saving us millions of dollars on this specific repair. And they quit doing that. They don't take care of any of the techs that come up with that anymore.
Yep. Yeah, I remember that. I think it was like $25 gift card or something like that.
I mean, it was something.
Yeah, it was something. And not only that, you felt proud of, hey, we fixed it, for you guys, whatever we found,
Oh, and I just remembered, Joe, you probably remember the Powerstroke challenge, and you wound up getting like a little
Oh, the card, the little
a
card.
little card. You
Oh,
get a
the
card
phone?
charge. Yeah, you get a like a Visa card charge, and you would have a it was like on PTS.
It was a spin to
And
win.
yeah, spin to win. That's what it was. Powerstroke spin to win. And yeah, it was something you could do every day or something. You'd spin the thing, and
I think I clocked
forgot.
like 2K at one time. That's how much
What?
work we had.
No way.
That's
in California.
awesome.
Yeah,
That's
but they gave
awesome.
it, like I said, right when 07, 08, they just dumped it. Like they just didn't care. I think they see more money and more just more money on the sell side, and it's less, liability. Us working at a shop is a liability, healthcare, this and that, all that stuff as a business. But in sales, it's not, that's where the money's made, financing.
This guy just Fred, one of our channel members, he goes, I won the PTS challenge the second year they had it. Best couple of days I experienced. They sent us out to Michigan. And that's so funny because let's say I went on the PTS challenge. All these guys are getting flown in, stayed up in hotels. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I guess I'll just drive like 20 minutes and just meet you guys over there. It's like, oh man, I want to go somewhere.
Yeah, I remember Rusty Bunn. The last year that before he passed away, he quit the dealership and he started doing it on his own. And he said the same problems that I'm saying today. He saw it back then, and he said it's just the appreciation. But he had so conviction of just helping people out, fixing other people's problems. And
How long was he in the business?
oh shit, long time. Like 30 years or something like
Yeah,
that.
okay.
Yeah, he lived out in Orange County, and then he moved out of state. I forgot where, and he took care of his family. And then he started doing his thing, and then started doing the what do you call it? His YouTube channel. And then he told me a couple stories where when the hybrids came out, and they flew him to Mexico to fix a problem, and Ford paid for it, whole week's trip. He went down there to fix the problem, and then came back. He said that was the highlight. And then after that, he said it just went downhill, and it was crazy. He's told me a lot of stories, but I didn't know he lived in Orange County until he told me when I met up with him. I think I was working at Raceway, and that's what that video when him and I met. We used to contact each other, and he had friends still living in the area, and then they used to come to see me as well. So
That's
it
cool.
was pretty cool. I mean, it's weird. It's like I didn't follow any of these guys. I just did it on my own, and then now I realize, like, man, we all met each other, except for just for Ron. I didn't know he lived that close, and that was pretty bad. But other than that, I mean, it was pretty cool. And then once I got to know them, I started looking them up, and I was like, wow.
If you guys don't know who Joe was talking about, if you guys go on YouTube, if you get a chance, you guys can check out Rusty Bunn, type in Rusty Bunn, or Senior Master Tech is his YouTube channel. Little older videos, 6-liter era, but a lot of good if you're doing cylinder head gaskets, a lot of heavy engine work with the cabs on. He's got a few great time lapses of him taking the top sides of the motor off, using the crane, doing what I would do with the cab off because I like taking cabs off. He was doing everything sitting right in chassis. So it was, pretty cool just seeing him move like this, and see everything come apart. So it was
Yeah.
definitely cool to see.
And also Rusty was the one that kept pushing me to get my senior masters after I told him that, they took the trip away. He used to help me all the time. Like, Joe, you need to get going. I was like, all right. So like I say, if you follow on my
That's good shit.
Facebook, I dedicated it to him after, when I got it, it's like,
That's good, man. That's
trying
cool.
to keep the community close, like you guys. But like I said, I haven't been on YouTube quite a while, and I'm meeting some of you guys for the first time. So
Absolutely.
so now I got time. Maybe I can start making videos and do some other stupid shit, I guess.
Yeah, it's about inspiring. I mean, getting that creative movement flowing again. I like what we've built, the community. It's not something that I have just done myself. It's interaction with CP and Ford Boss Me and really networking with a great group of guys. We got another guy down in Alabama, Flying Wrenches Automotive. You guys check out his YouTube channel, doing the same kind of thing. Great attitude, trying to get these vehicles fixed for the customer the correct way the first time, and ultimately having that same goal. And it's real important to me, if we're going to be here on the show talking, to make sure we all have the same goals. Like, we're bouncing ideas off of each other. I'll call Ford Boss Me. He'll call me. I'll call CP. Hey, what have you seen this at work? Or hey, oh yeah, one of my coworkers had this. I'm only seeing.
I was talking to Hey Rod today because I was having a problem.
We only see the vehicles that come into each one of our individual stores. CP store, my store, Joe's store. Like, if we all network together, now we have 4 stores. Like, that's huge. When you're repairing vehicles, any information, dude, if you're having a problem child or trying to figure out this this code, I keep having a P0170 keep setting that I'm having some problems with. So it's, hey, phone a friend, write a friend, see this guy. It's it's very useful to be able to reach out over social media, or like I said, not being even in the aftermarket world. The aftermarket world does not have the abilities to contact the Ford Tech. There are some ways, but not right now. We can do it right now. Let's do it. We can get additional information. So it's like when we put our information out on the web for you guys, the tidbits Ford Boss Me's putting out, the stuff that we're putting out Tuesdays and Fridays with Powerstroke maintenance, and just stuff that people need to see in order to keep their vehicles on the road. And I mean, how else would anybody else in the aftermarket world get a hold of the same info we have? It's going to have to be through a channel like ours, like his, or know somebody that has a connection. Because, I mean, just because you're in the aftermarket world doesn't mean, there are a lot of good mom and pop shops. There's a lot of good mom and pop shops that have good reputation. There's a lot of great techs at mom and pop shops. And if you have a dedicated community where that is, your go-to repair facility, you got to deliver. And that means having the latest information at your fingertips. And
I got guys that reached out for me from Florida and stuff like that, independent shop, and say, hey, Rich, I've got a Ford in here right now, and I don't have any real experienced Ford guys. You think you can help me with, how do you properly refill this cooling system, or, what's the part number for this or that? And they pick up the phone or they'll email me all the time. It's a community of people that we build to really help each other. It's not just a dealership thing. It's anybody that needs help, and we're willing to help. I mean, I help people all day, every day.
that's it. Our channel, ours, as in like our here on the show tonight, our channels are constantly helping people. DTR's channel, RIP, buddy, passed on and gone. His channel is still helping people. Impact, when you're gone. That is still being felt in the community. That is help. He's being recognized. People honor him for his help, and people are starting to realize that myself, Ford Boss Me, CP, Joe, Flying Wrenches, we're not at dealerships. We're not all dealerships. We're good stores, and there are good techs that are out there that really, really want to help get that vehicle fixed. Yeah, it's a job. Yeah, it could be an upper oil pan, and you guys know the ones you come in to see me. I want to do your upper oil pan, but you know I don't want to do upper oil pan. We gotta fix them. It's just how it is. Meet Man Matt, the upper oil pan king of Grand Rapids. You know how many oil pans that guy's done? I get tired of doing them, but hey, we're here to helping people all day, every day. That's just what we do. It's we fix people's problems. Everybody's problems become our problems. I mean, really.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it comes down to.
I had to call A-Rod today because I was putting that M300 in that 22 Super Duty complete assembly.
That was weird, man.
He helped us figure out how to take the VIN filter out of the parts catalog. And it took a little while, but the only way we were able to find it is by pulling the VIN filter out of the catalog. And it took well over an hour to find it. But the nuts that go on the U-bolts that hold that that Dana M300 up in that truck, the ones that the catalog calls out for is an HN6 or something like that. It's not the right one. Those are not the bolts that go to that M300. And until we pulled the filter out and A-Rod was able to point us in the right direction, we had to just search every single application that was available. We finally came up with the right part number that's not listed correctly per that VIN. And it's for those of you that want to know, it's a Whiskey 711-310-S440. And it's a like 27 millimeter nut. And the ones that they give you based on the VIN filter is like a 24 millimeter. That's not even close. It won't even fit those U-bolts on that brand new Super Duty. Yeah.
What the heck, man?
So it's networking. He was able to help me, and I was able to get the job done and get it complete tonight, and took it on a test drive. No noise, no nothing.
Yeah, I
drive.
forgot to ask. How was it? What do you think?
I got the Dana installed. It's a pretty easy job overall because it was an entire unit. And
Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am.
It was a quart low on fluid from Dana. And that seems to be a general consensus. If you look on most of the Super Duty forums and the guys going to pick up their Super Duties delivered to the dealership, I've been hearing this more and more and more that they're showing up about a quart low. And sure enough, I took my finger and I stuck it down inside the hole, and I was almost able to get the entire ridge to the second part before I could even touch fluid. And then I went and got another quart of fluid, and I'm just slowly putting it in there. And video will be released in the morning so you guys can see how accurate it was. It was exactly 1 quart low before it reached exactly where it was supposed to be. And I got everything put together, went for a test drive. I drove it about 9 miles, and it seems to be fine. But nephew DeVito won't be around to pick it up until Friday. And I'm going to drive it a couple more times over the next few days, hoping that no more material shows up like what we've seen before. And then on top of that, no noise. But if the noise pops back up again, we're back to square one. Luckily, all that debris and stuff won't be in there anymore, and it's got the proper fluid level. So we'll see.
Oh man, I hope Vito watching. That would be exciting to get that thing back on the road. Been down for quite a while. Dude, brand new 22, got 1,300 miles on it. Luckily, we got it in the right hands. Was able to again network a client from south side of Chicago, and yeah.
Joe, I don't know if you're out of the loop with that or not, but it's a brand new Super Duty. and about 700 miles, it started to develop almost like a metallic type vibration coming from the rear of the vehicle on decel. And it's not loud. It's a little bit annoying. Doesn't seem like it's catastrophic or anything. And the guy had been to 2 other dealers, and they no problem found, no problem found. That's normal. And then they A-Rod had suggested that he come see me, and I was able to hear the sound almost immediately. And it's really weird as it's shifting down from about 40 to 35, 45 down to 35, and you're on the brakes, sometimes not even on the brakes, you can hear it go from the rear end. It's like a light metallic vibration sound. And I had this thing for days, and I was dumping hours into it trying to figure out where this was coming from because it was so annoying. And I put chassis ears on it, and I'm moving it all over the place, and the loudest sound I could hear was right above the differential. I even rode out in the rain, soaked, I mean, to the point where rain was pouring like off of my sleeves, dripping, and people were laughing at me coming in the shop. And I was in the bed of this thing, riding around in circles in the parking lot, trying to pinpoint it, and it kept sounding like it's coming from the rear end. And finally, I checked fluid level and stuff like that. It was fine, but when I pulled the plug out, it was just full of metal. It wasn't even just a little bit like a break-in material. It was mounted up full of metal. And then I pulled a fluid sample out, and I pulled about a jar, like a pint-sized jar, about half full of nothing but silvery, flaky, gray material that just saturated this thing. And even for weeks sitting on top of my box, that it was so bad and so saturated in that fluid, it didn't even begin to separate. It just stayed exactly the way it was. So I put an M300 Dana setup in it today that finally came in, and hoping that the sound is gone.
That's good. This kind of reminds me back in when the 6.0s came out, they were just pushing out the trucks, and we were hearing all kinds of weird noises because, you know, they just pushed out the products. And we're getting a lot of rear end noises too at the shop and stuff like that. It just shows how, like you said before, across the nation, we're all having the same problems. It's just the quality of everything, you know, with this world thing that we're going through. It just makes everybody, you know, don't care, you know, and we're seeing it through our supply chain, and things are getting bad, you know. It's like, I'm surprised you even got the parts.
It was tough because Anthony was like, yeah, I'm not going to put up with, you know, basically buying a brand new truck like this, and then now you guys are going to tear into it and rebuild it. I want a new unit. I don't want a rebuilt unit on my brand new vehicle. And we expressed Anthony's concern to to Ford, and then explained it to the FSC. And I don't think he quite got how the guy didn't want a rebuilt unit. He wanted a new unit to go with his new truck. And then finally the FSC was like, look, let's just make it right. Let's pull some strings, push it along the way, and let's get this guy exactly what he wants. And then finally they found an assembly that they didn't think they could find, and sat there. It's been sitting there for a few weeks because I had surgery a couple weeks ago, hernia surgery. So then I've been back about 4 days now, and it was my second big job since I came back, and it's not a huge job, but I'm just hoping this is it. I hope, you know, I don't have to hold this guy's truck even longer, because now I have another Super Duty doing the same thing.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah,
Jesus.
it's a Platinum, 1,400 miles on it, making the same annoying sound from the rear. Pull the plug, full of metal. Pull a sample. It's not quite as bad as the first one, but it's full of metal and stuff like that. Stick a magnet down in there and pull it out, and it's just covered in metal.
Unreal. Did they tell the customer you got your toe cut off?
Yeah. They did. Yep. They somebody called that, I guess, check on the status or something of the truck, and Ford, one of the Ford people that talk to the customers or something like that, said, yeah, I think the technician's out of service right now because he got his toe cut off. I'm talking to A-Rod while all this is going on while I'm at work. I'm like, what? What did they just tell the customer? I'm kidding.
That is so funny, dude.
I'm completely fine.
Oh,
Yeah.
You just wait. I think nephew Vito is he's gonna be happy.
I hope. I mean, let's see. We got to put some miles on it though, because it took 700 miles for it to show up. So I'm going to drive the mess out of it the next couple of days.
Hell yeah. Hey, you should bring that down Saturday. That'll be a good road test. I'm sure he'd appreciate it.
If he would be okay with it, I'd bring it.
Well, guys, this is where I'll end it. I really appreciate you all watching. Everybody out there, Rain Man, thanks for coming through. Cowboy, Car Crusher, appreciate you, every one of you. And Joe, thanks for taking some time out your evening, bud, to come and hang with us. BS, I like having another Ford guy on here, another guy from the trenches who sees it every day, who gets it, and knows what's up. Big shout out to CP Reeland for sidelining and the meetup Saturday, 12 to 4. Going to be at the shop BBF. You're going to see these 3 dudes here, the top and the 2 bottom ones, and a bunch of other people, a bunch of local subs, a bunch of local customers coming by support. The shop's going to be providing some food, some lunch. So if you guys want to stop through, give me an email, and maybe we'll see you. Till next time, we'll see you.